This channel is for the man who stayed strong when no one noticed, the man who carried responsibility quietly and slowly disappeared. Here, strength is questioned, silence is exposed, and the cost of being the strong one is finally spoken out. Loud, you think you're lonely, but you're not. You're exhausted. There's a difference. Loneliness is wanting connection and not having it. What you're experiencing is something else entirely. You're surrounded by people. You have relationships, conversations, responsibilities, but you feel completely alone. Not because no one's there, but because you're doing all the work. This is called overfunctioning, and it's not the same as being helpful. It's not the same as being reliable. It's the silent collapse that happens when you become the one who holds everything together, while slowly falling apart yourself. Let me show you what overfunctioning actually looks like. You're the one who remembers everything. Birthdays, appointments. What needs to be done? What was promised? What's been forgotten? Not because you're naturally organized, but because if you don't remember, nothing happens. You're the one who initiates every conversation, every plan, every check-in. You reach out first because you've learned that if you don't, the silence stretches indefinitely. You stop texting for a week and suddenly you realize nobody noticed you were gone. You're the one who manages emotions, not just yours but everyone else's. You can feel the tension in a room before anyone speaks. You adjust your energy to stabilize theirs. You carry their anxiety so they can stay calm. You've become so good at emotional regulation that you don't even realize you're doing it anymore. You're the one who solves problems at work, at home, in friendships. People come to you because you fix things, and you do it because someone has to. But here's what nobody tells you about overfunctioning. It doesn't make you valued, it makes you invisible. Because when you do everything, people stop seeing you as a person. They see you as a function. And functions don't need care, they just need to keep working. The brain doesn't just accept roles, it adapts to them. When you overfunction long enough, your nervous system rewires itself around other people's needs. You lose the ability to even recognize your own. Someone asks, "What do you want?" and you freeze. Not because you don't have preferences, but because you've trained yourself to scan for what everyone else needs first. Your wants became background noise. Their needs became your primary signal. This is called self-erasure, and it happens so gradually you don't notice until you're standing in your own life feeling like a stranger. Here's the cruelest part about overfunctioning. The more you do, the more people expect. It's not malicious, it's just how systems work. When you consistently show up as the person who handles everything, that becomes your role. And roles are hard to escape because everyone around you has organized their life around your function. You became the steady one, the reliable one, the one who never needs anything. And now if you try to stop, if you try to pull back, if you dare to say, "I need help," people don't see growth. They see malfunction. They say, "What's wrong with you?" or "You're not acting like yourself." And they're right, you're not acting like the version of yourself they needed you to be. You're acting like a human being with limits, and that's threatening to a system that's been running on your depletion. Let me tell you what happened to a man I'll call the overfunction engine. He spent 15 years being the person everyone could count on. At work, he was the one who stayed late to finish projects others started. At home, he was the one who planned everything, remembered everything, carried the mental load of the entire household. In friendships, he was the one who organized gatherings, checked in on people, showed up when they needed him, and he told himself this was love, this was what good men do. Until one day, he woke up and couldn't get out of bed, not because he was sick, but because his body finally said no. The overfunctioning had depleted him so completely that his nervous system shut down. And when he told people he needed to step back, needed to rest, needed help, the response wasn't concern. It was inconvenience. They didn't ask what's happening to you, they asked who's going to handle this. Because they'd never seen him as a person. only as the solution to their problems. That's when he realized the loneliness he'd been feeling wasn't about lack of people, it was about lack of mutuality. He'd been in dozens of relationships where he gave everything and received function in return. People loved what he did for them, not who he was. And the moment he stopped doing, the love evaporated. This is the reality of overfunctioning. You can be surrounded by people and still be completely alone, because connection isn't just proximity. Connection is reciprocity. And when you're the only one reaching, remembering, managing, solving, you're not in relationship. You're performing maintenance. So what do you do when you realize you've been overfunctioning? First, you stop calling it loneliness and start calling it what it is: relational exhaustion. You're not missing connection, you're missing balance. You're not isolated, you're depleted. Second, you start the terrifying work of stopping. Not all at once, but strategically. You stop initiating with people who never initiate back. You stop managing emotions for people who never ask how you're doing. You stop solving problems for people who treat you like a resource instead of a person. And yes, some people will leave. The ones who were only there for your function will disappear the moment you stop performing it. And that will hurt, but it will also clarify. Because you'll finally see who actually valued you versus who just valued your labor. Third, you rebuild your ability to need. This is the hardest part because overfunctioners have spent years convincing themselves that needing is weakness. But needing isn't weakness, it's humanity. And if you can't need anything from anyone, you can't actually connect with anyone. You have to practice saying, I need help with this. I need support. I need you to show up for me the way I show up for you. And you have to be willing to let people fail that test, because some will. But the ones who pass, the ones who actually step up when you stop carrying everything, those are your people. The overfunction engine learned this the hard way. When he stopped doing everything, most of his relationships dissolved. But 3 people stayed. 3 people who'd been there all along, wanting to support him, but never getting the chance because he never stopped long enough to receive. Those 3 relationships deepened in ways that years of overfunctioning never could. Because for the first time he was showing up as a whole person with needs, limits, and the capacity to both give and receive. You're not lonely, you're overfunctioning. And the solution isn't more connection, it's better boundaries. It's learning to let people carry their own weight. It's accepting that you're not responsible for holding everyone else's life together while yours falls apart. The hero's journey isn't about saving everyone, it's about learning when to stop. Because the man who does everything for everyone ends up being nothing to himself. And that's not strength, that's disappearance. If you're exhausted pretending you're fine, if you're tired of being the only one who tries, if you're done performing, function while starving for actual connection, this is your permission. You can stop. You're allowed to need. You're allowed to let things fall that you've been holding up. And the people who matter won't leave